I'm going to surface this typical classic IKEA lamp. I just did a very rough surfacing exercise, and I just want to show you how I use the different tools. Okay, so I just put them as a backdrop just to get an idea on the proportions. You don't necessarily need to surface every time with a backdrop. You know, sometimes you can just freeform surface without using any reference images, okay, as a background. But you know, just for the purpose of this exercise, getting the proportion right, I like to use these backgrounds from time to time. Okay, so now I'm in the layers window. So I've separated into backdrop. I'm just going to lock this, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm not snapping to my picture frame, even though it's locked, the layer backdrop. So I'm going to go into Tools, Object Snap, and make sure that Snap to Locked Objects is unchecked, which is the case. Perfect. So I've got layer 01, and I'm going to make it in yellow so that we can see better, like this. I don't need this circle for now. I'm just going to delete this. I just want the backdrop for now. Okay, perfect. So it seems that what I'm going to do, I'm going to start working with the base. So it's a pretty straightforward shape. I'm going to start drawing, maybe starting at this point here, and go and press Shift and left click to position this point. I can take this line, make a copy, snap to this endpoint, press Shift, and position it about here, and right click to complete the copy. Okay, now I want to start at the midpoint of these two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the point tool, and check this out. I'm going to press Control key, and I'm going to bring my cursor on top of the snapping toolbar, and these are my temporary snapping toolbars. Okay, and there's the between that I like. So I'm just going to click on between. So now it's activated, and it's asking me in the command line for the first point. So I'm just going to make sure that my snapping toolbar is checked on endpoint. I'm going to grab the first point, and you can see a point here that's showing up, and I can grab the other endpoint, and I've positioned this point to be midpoint of these two. So let me do it again for you. Okay, check this out. So I'm going to use the point tool. Okay, I make sure that on my snapping toolbar endpoint is activated. Okay, but that's my snapping toolbar. But now I press the Control key, okay, and I bring my cursor right on top of the snapping toolbar, and you see immediately that it switched to something different. It's called a temporary snapping toolbar, and I use it from time to time. I find it quite practical, and there's this function called between. So I'm just going to click it once with the left mouse button on between, and I'm going to release the Control key, and now I'm going to put the first point. So you see in the command line it says first point, so I'm going to grab the endpoint of this line, and you can see the point being positioned right midpoint between my cursor and the endpoint of that line, and it says in the command line second point. So I'm just going to grab the endpoint of that second line, and I've positioned a line perfectly at that at the midway between those two lines. Okay, that's pretty practical. I like that, this temporary snapping toolbar. Okay, now I'm going to draw a line that's going to start from the midpoint of that of the line and extend about here. Okay, so I go and grab the line icon, I extend the toolbar, and I have here line from midpoint. I just click on it, and I'm going to go to my snapping toolbar, check the point option, and I'm just going to grab the point, and I press Shift so that I can have a line about this high, and I just left click, and that's it. Alright, I don't need that point anymore, so I can select it and delete it. And I'm going to just move, or I can activate my gumball, and I can just drag with my left mouse click, drag on the red arrow and position it about here. Okay, great. So now I can shape it any way I want. Maybe I could use the arc tool like this. So I used the third icon here. And I'm going to grab this endpoint and that endpoint, and I'm going to press Shift, and on the vertical line just left click as you see here. Okay, so now I'm going to select this arc that I've just created, and I'm going to the Move tool. I'm just going to extend this toolbar, and I'm going to use the mirror function. Now I'm going to check the mid snapping toolbar. Okay, I'm going to grab the middle point, sorry, of my line, and I'm going to press Shift so that I can constrain on the X-axis, and I can make a mirror on the other side. Okay, so I've got my shape that is pretty well defined. Okay, now if I hide my backdrop and I press F7, so you can see my construction grid. The origin point is here, so I can draw a line that starts at 0 like this, and I'm going to press Shift and left click to define it on the Z-axis like that. And I'm going to trim, select this line, enter, and just select these two lines to remove them. So now I know that these lines are perfectly aligned with the Z-axis. I press F7 so that we can see better. Alright, I can select all of these together, so I'm just going to do a box selection, but this time instead of going from left to right, I go from right to left, so whatever touches that dashed box, it's going to be selected automatically. And I'm going to click Join. So now if I look at my command line, it says 5 curves join into one open curve. Perfect. So now I can go and switch maybe to my perspective viewport like this. Maybe maximize it. I'm going to select my curve that I've joined, and I'm going to go here, extend this toolbar, so surface creation toolbar, and I'm going to select the revolve icon. Start of revolve axis, so I snap at endpoints on my snapping toolbar. Grab the first point, second point, make sure that start angle is at 0, enter, revolution angle 360, you just right click again, and there's your base. Okay, so if I select my object and I go into properties windows, under object, it says it's a closed poly surface, therefore it's solid. Alright, so I go back to my layers, and I'm just gonna go and reactivate my backdrop so that I can see what's the next step. So I know I need to work on the lamp post. Okay, so it's just a circle of a certain diameter. So just to get a rough idea, I'm going to go and measure it quickly just to have an idea. Okay, so I'm going to go here, extend the toolbar, and here I have the icon for distance. And just to get an idea, let's see, from this point to that point, I have about, let's say, 2 centimeters. So yeah, I forgot to tell you, I'm working in centimeters this time. Okay, so it's about 2 centimeters diameter. Okay, so I'm going to draw a circle. So the center point is going to be a 0, and I want the diameter to be 2 centimeters. So I just type in 2, and here's my circle at the bottom of the base. I can keep it at the bottom of the base if I want, or I can use the gumball. So I just activate my gumball at the bottom of my screen, and I select the blue arrow with my left mouse button, and I just drag it to about, let's say, a little bit beneath the surface of my base, as you can see here. Okay, so I'm just going to deactivate my gumball. Now I know I want to extrude this, so I can do a surface extrude curve straight. This time it's going to do a surface, not a solid, because I just extruding a simple curve. So I go about this, well, and let's see from the front view, it's going to be a bit easier. So about this high, that's enough, something like that. Okay, so I've got this shape done. Now I want to shape the upper part, this part of my shade, lampshade. So it's just a matter of shaping it as a curve. So maybe I can shape it and snap it to the quad of my base of my neck here. So I just select the control point curve here. I snap in quad on my snapping toolbar, as you can see here, and I'm going to go and grab the quad of my neck, and I just start drawing a curve. Again, I like to distance my point as much as I can while trying to keep the same level of definition as in my drawing. Okay, don't put too many points because it's not going to create a nice clean curve. Okay, so try and develop this habit. And so I'm trying to have a curve about this shape. That's perfect, and I know that it's snapping at the quad of my neck here, so that's perfect. So now it's another matter of doing a revolution. So I just go here, extend my toolbar, that's called surface creation, and I've got here revolve. Select curves to revolve, so I'm just select this curve, enter. So now start of revolve axis. I'm just going to go into perspective mode so that you can see a bit better. And I'm going to activate the center snapping toolbar. Okay, so center is activated. And I bring my cursor near the circle of my neck, and it snaps automatically to the center, as you can see here. So I'm just going to switch viewports, and I'm going to go switch to the front viewport. And I'm going to define the axis by going upwards in the Z axis, or Z for my American friends. And I just go up and left click like this. So now the start angle is at 0, so I just press enter, and the revolution angle, always pay attention to the command line, it's very important. Make sure that it's 360 between the brackets. Or you can simply click on full circle in the options between parentheses if you want. So I click full circle and it does it automatically as well. Okay. So there you go. I've got this shape that is defined. That's looking good. Now I want to work on this neck here. Okay. So let me see. I can go and draw from the front viewport, and I'm going to draw the neck like this. That, and I'm going to try and follow that shape, something like that, nothing too fancy. There you go. Okay. Okay, so now I can select this neck. I want to hide it for now, and I'm just going to draw. So I'm going to hide the backdrop as well, and I'm just going to focus on the neck, and I'm just going to draw the neck of that lamp. I need to figure out the diameter, so I need to reactivate actually my backdrop. So in the circles menu, if I extend my toolbar, I have one function that I've been talking to you a lot in the previous videos. It's this one, it's called circle around curves. Okay, I'm just going to left click on this function, and I'm going to select my curve. Well, it's already snapping to the curve. I'm just going to activate the endpoint on my snapping toolbar, and I'm just going to grab the endpoint of that curve, and I'm going to draw a curve, a circle that is, so if you can see it from the perspective, you can see that it's normal at that very endpoint. And I'm going to just, with my mouse button, left click about, let's say about here, like this. So I have defined the diameter, okay? So now I can either sweep, so I can do a sweep one rail, surface, sweep one rail, select my rail, select my circle, enter. So if I zoom in, this is the result. Okay, I don't care about where the arrow is pointing in which direction, because I only have one object here. It's not like I've got multiple objects. And I'm just going to right click again to do my sweep, and you can see the neck. And I'm just going to leave it in free form. Do not simplify. That's perfect as it is. I don't need to make any modifications, and I'm just going to click OK. So I can make appear my hidden geometries by right-clicking on Show Objects, and there you have it. Okay, I've got my neck here. So now I need to work on this shape, and this is interesting because I need to create an auxiliary construction plane. Okay, so if I press F7, actually my grid is already showing here. I don't need to press F7, but I need to reposition the construction grid along this. It has to be coplanar to that circle here that you see here. Okay, so I'm going to right click on the perspective tab, and I'm going to select set C plane, and I'm going to say define the C plane in 3 points. Okay, so now it's asking me for the origin point, so I'm going to snap in center on my snapping toolbar, bring my cursor near the circle like this. So I've defined the center point. Now it's asking me for the X direction. I'm going to snap in quad on my snapping toolbar. I'm going to grab the quad here. So now I've positioned the X direction, which is the yellow line. Okay. Now I need to define the the Y line, so I just need to snap at the other quad of my circle, and I just left click to position. Now you can see the grid appearing. It's kind of hard. I'm just going to hide the backdrop, but you can see that the grid now is perfectly flush with my circle. So this is the yellow line by convention. That's what I chose. Would be the x-axis, and the blue line is the y-axis, okay, of my construction plane. Okay, so now I need to draw a vertical line to that construction plane. So in here, in the menu bar, what I can do is that I can pull this extension, I can extend this lines toolbar, and I have a function here. It's this icon here. It's called vertical to C-plane. So I can create a vertical line to my construction plane. So I'm just going to click on this. Now, because I know that the origin is here at the very center, I can tap in 0 like this, and you can see a vertical line to that construction plane that is being pulled. So basically what I'm drawing right now is just an axis line. Okay, I'm drawing an axis line. It's pretty straightforward, and the reason why I'm doing this, it's because I want to be able to create my lampshade. If I show my background pictures, I want to create this lampshade here. Okay, so I'm just going to hide this momentarily, and I'm going to define now another construction plane that's going to be this axis, the x-axis, like this, but it's going to go along the z-axis as well. Okay, so first of all, before I do that, I'm going to save this construction plane. So I'm just going to right click, set C plane, and I'm going to go all the way down to name C plane, and I'm just going to click on this little icon called save as, and I'm just going to keep it at C plane 01 and just click OK. So it saved this construction plane that you see here. All right, so now I want to create a new construction plane. So I'm just going to go and right click, set C plane, and I'm going to do again 3 points. So now it's going to be again in 0, so the center of my construction point, which is here. So I just type in 0 like that. So the quad, the x-axis, I want it to be the same. So I'm just going to snap in quad and go and grab the quad here. This time I want, instead of my y-axis being here, I need it to be at the end point of my line. So I'm just going to check the end point of my snapping toolbar, and I'm going to grab the end point on this line that I've just sketched, like this. So now I've reoriented, I've created a new auxiliary construction plane, as you can see. So this is my x-axis on this auxiliary construction plane, and the blue line is the y-axis on my construction plane. So now I need to work in a sort of orthographic or a plan view of this construction plane so that I can draw my lampshade comfortably. Okay, so I just need to right click on perspective. I'm going to set view, and I'm going to go and select plan. Okay, so I just click on that, and now my perspective view has created a orthographic projection, and now I can sketch easily my lampshade. Okay, so if I reactivate my backdrop, okay, it gives me an idea on how it's going to be shaped. So I'm just going to start maybe drawing the curve. It doesn't match perfectly my backdrop, it doesn't matter, but I'm just going to snap in quad here and grab the neck of this lamp and just shape something more or less similar, like this, like that, something like that, and shape it like that. So I don't need the backdrop anymore, so I've got this shape. Okay, so now I want to do a revolution of this. If you want, you can go back to a perspective view. So you just right click on perspective, you go to set view, and you select perspective. So now you go back into perspective view. Okay, but your auxiliary construction plane, as you can see, is maintained. So I'm just going to zoom in here. That's it. And I'm going to do a revolve. So I've got my surface creation toolbar, and I've got here revolve. So I select this. Select curve to revolve, so I select this curve, I press enter. Start of revolve axis, so I'm going to grab the endpoint of this line that I have created, and I'm going to grab the other endpoint of this axis line. Start angle 0 degrees, so I just enter, and 360 degrees, that's perfect, so I just press enter again, and here's my revolution. Okay, and if I wanted to do the light bulb, it would be again the same process. I don't think I need to do that right now. It's not very important at this stage, but you know, I've got here pretty much everything I need for my IKEA lamp. Okay, now if I want to save this construction plane, I can always save this. I go to Set C-Plane, I go to Name C-Planes, and I'm just going to click on Save As. You can rename it any way you want, or you can keep it at C-Plane 02 this time. And there you go. So I can close this. So if you want to bring back C-Plane 01, for example, you just right-click, Set C-Plane, and you see here C-Plane 01, C-Plane 02. So C-Plane 01 is this construction plane that we saved. And if I go back to Set C-Plane, C-Plane 02 is this one. If you want to go back to the original construction grid, so as a reminder, I just right click on perspective, I go to Set C-Plane, and I go into World Top, because the construction grid in perspective view is the same construction grid as the top view. Okay, so it's the XY plane that you see here, XY, and in perspective you can see here XY. Okay, so it's the same construction grid. So that's it for this little tutorial. I hope it was useful for you. Try and practice it yourselves, and see you for the next videos. Thank you.